It's Jason Blaha here, getting my first cardio session of the day. We did whoosh. We're down to 217 this morning. So during the cut, officially down 5 pounds, which I'll take, keeping in mind because people said, well, shouldn't be faster. Not necessarily, because I upped my carbs a lot, right? We upped the carbs and added a ton of cardio. So I gained a bunch of water the first week. So I went up 5 pounds in the first week. And now it's just dropped down slowly week after the last few weeks. So we're like 3 weeks in and I'm down 5 pounds from before the carbs were added. I'll take it. We'll take the win. Please tell me that I remembered to make this public. Right? I hope I did. There we go. I thought I hit all of it, but you know, I'm stupid like that sometimes. All right, get those likes up, get those comments going. Good workout today. Happy with it. I'm going to have to be careful with the volume now. I want to make sure I don't overtrain. I just have to do my best to preserve muscle. So I went with the stuff that was effective today. I've built big legs on nothing but squats and deadlifts before, by the way. You guys remember that. You know, sometimes some extra good mornings or whatever. When I had a home gym before, got my squat to 500 and had big old legs. So today I really just focused on squats and deadlifts and then did supplemental stuff. I didn't bother with glute ham raises, didn't bother with the belt squat. Just deep squats, one top set of deadlifts, and then did calf reverse hypers and forearms. And I've had people point that out too. They're like, they've watched me do it when I do the squats, delts, calves. They're like, dude, honestly, that's a full workout. You would literally, I would grow from that personally. Like, yeah, I know. So I'm going to do that. And I'm thinking almost the upper body days, because I'm doing so much cardio. We did get a whoosh. I'm probably doing too many exercises. I need to be focusing on just trying to keep what I have and then gain maybe weak points. So I almost feel like I could take the big movements to just benching and rowing. But we need to do arms and delts. And I probably, honestly, I probably just do curls till my biceps are exhausted. Kind of like I did yesterday. Hey, Bozo, we're not doing any of that. Hit that like button, though, guys. Get those likes up, get those engagements up. You know, main thing is I've got to watch the total volume if I'm going to cut this hard. I also dropped calories a little more yesterday. So it's like I'm doing a minimum of 3 hours cardio every day. Calories are down. Nick says, should I hop on the sauce? That's a very personal decision, Nick. That's something that we're at a consultation level question to where if you really wanted to discuss your options and whether it's right for you, that's a highly detailed question. No way we can cover that in a live stream. Training history, what your health looks like, what your goals are, what you're willing to live with, you know. I always tell guys, and I don't think gear in moderation is actually particularly dangerous. It really isn't if we go off evidence, but you have to know the risk. So I always say, guys, if you can't pay the price, don't roll the dice. And here's one that I always say. Big coach, I hit the like, appreciate it, Peppermint. So Nick, here's the one question I always ask guys, and they hate this question. They hate this question. Are you willing to accept the risk of needing to go on TRT early? Because you're going to need TRT one day no matter what. If you want normal testosterone, everyone's test is going to drop eventually. Always accept that fact. But let's come over to it. Don't do your first cycle unless you are willing to accept the possibility of needing testosterone every week for the rest of your life. If you can't accept that and say, hey, I would be perfectly fine with that, because there is a chance that's going to happen much sooner as a result of that, right? I'm not saying it will. It's not even a 50% chance. It's less than that, right? It's considerably less. But it is a real possibility. It's like, it's a serious enough possibility that you have to accept it and be content with that choice. And if your answer to that is no, then don't do your first cycle. And I think that's a really fair question. That frames it into perspective. So let's say you decide to go on the sauce. Are you prepared to stay on testosterone every week for your entire life? From that point forward, Are you willing to accept that as an acceptable outcome? And if you say no to that, I'm going to say you absolutely need to stay natural. 100% need to stay off the gear. That's usually my first criteria that I ask guys. Are you willing to accept it as a lifetime possible commitment, locked in, that you can't divorce from? And if you say yes, hey, dude, I can live with that, I'm totally cool with it, all right, it's definitely a real possibility for you. But I'd say that's the number one question. Make the like button for that. Appreciate it, man. Also, what's up? Leg day's done. Did squats, deadlifts, all that stuff. Getting my cardio in. Hit that like for that. I will watch out for trees. I'm not going to go down that street, that part today. All right, we're not going to go down that part today. But get those likes up, guys. We got like 8 people and 2 likes. Come on now. And I've seen multiple people say they hit that like. So where them likes at? Come on. Hit the like button. Get those likes flowing. Come on. You guys know what to do. You know what to do. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Right? Come on now. Like button. Don't make me sing again. I will. Just because I can't sing doesn't mean I won't. Thoughts on step loading to staying within the same weight for 4 weeks before increasing the weight? What do you mean? I'm going to need you to re-ask that in plain English. I forget some of these crazy terms people use in their periodization, right? Because periodization is mostly voodoo. They just make it up as they go. So I'm going to need you to re-explain that, right? And why does it need to be 4 weeks? I mean, why would you base anything around a 4-week cycle in lifting? Your body doesn't work on a 4-week cycle. Most stuff in your body works on a 21-day cycle. So if you were in theory going to do something for X number of weeks, why not 3 weeks? I'm just saying. Coach, you know all the classic songs. I do. I'm very musically diverse. I have an extensive musical palette. Just failed a 150 for 5, squat got 4. What happens, young? Keep training. Keep training. All right? We get those likes up, guys. I mean, husband, sure, you could just keep working, but I don't know what you mean by step loading. Do you mean adding sets? Do you mean adding reps? What are you talking about? How are you defining that? Sure, if you can add reps and stick with the weight, but I always generally say, no matter what's going on, when you reach a certain amount of reps, you should add weight. If you decide you're doing 8s, then you need to add weight when you get to 8, like you're picking a rep range, 8 to 5, 5 to 8, whatever, 10 to 12. Whenever you reach that top end, you need to add weight. I don't care what week you think you're on. Yep, young, just keep going consistent. Next 2 years straight, 1 pound a month. And just stay consistent. Don't miss workouts. But not obsessed. There you go. That's the key. Why did our views drop down? We were doing good. We lost like 11 viewers because people aren't hitting like. Come on. That's okay. Young is giving engagements. That helps. Right? Oh man, the sun's coming up that direction. So maybe I need to walk this way. Maybe I need to go down this other street. This street's really good in the early mornings. I keep forgetting it's after 8 o'clock already. And that sun's rising there, so I need to be crossing down towards these other streets. Watch out for trees. I don't need to watch out for trees. I just need to watch out for that one tree. That's like the only tree that's in my sidewalk path. And it's just over there across the street from my block. So walk this way, talk this way. Yep, that's old Aerosmith song. Do I have to go to failure? No, you don't have to go to failure. You should not be getting stapled under squats regularly. I don't recommend it. When you hit a grinder, rack it, right? Technical failure is really where you should be going on squats. Last rep, if the form starts to break when you grind, that's your last rep, rack it. Getting stapled under squats is going to impact your next workout. I don't recommend it. That's why we break it down to technical failure, right? If you want to impact your recovery, get stapled under a squat and then try to come back and do a 3-day-a-week squat program. You're not going to have a fun time. There's a certain psychological impact from getting stapled under a squat that sticks with you for a week. You know, just be aware of that. Hit that like, appreciate it, Dean, get them likes up. Hit that like button, like drop, there we go, now the likes are coming up. 2 regulars came in. Getting it flowing. Getting it flowing. Oh man, how you doing, Dean? You good? You want me to call you Dean or call you Steve in here since I know who your real name? We'll just call you Dean. What do you think is more impressive, an 800 deadlift or a 600 good morning? I don't know. When we're at that level, how do we even compare that anymore? I don't even know how we compare that anymore. Right? I love it when fellow regulars come in and boost the coach. There we go. There we go. They're trickling up now too. Now the likes are coming up, views are coming up. We're doing good here. Keep it flowing. Yeah, I'll get the leg day stuff up. Yeah, I definitely am gonna have to be a little more careful with the volume, I think, throughout the rest of this cut now that we're consistently dropping. And I took my calories down a little. I'm finding it a little easier to handle lower calories. I only ate right at about 2,800 yesterday, 28 to 2,900. First time I went under 3,000 and it gave me a pound whoosh finally. But if I'm gonna go to starvation calories like that, I need to be very careful with my training volumes. So we titrated, or we reduced the volume a little bit today on legs, mainly by just taking certain exercises out, and I feel really good. I still got a couple of really good set of squats, the first and the last, because I just kind of pyramided it up just to see how it felt. 217 today, Dean. But you know, I did that 405 for 4. I basically just ramped it up. I did a pretty challenging 315 rep set, then went up to 365, and then I went up to 405. I'm like, I bet you I can rep 405 today, and I got 4. I almost went for a 5th, but I'm like, let's not overdo it. I got a deadlift. Right? Strength progress is so slow because muscle growth is a slow process. You know, you look like you could have gotten another rep. Yeah, I think I could have. I mean, the 4th rep wasn't really grindy, but it was hard enough that I'm like, if I go for a 5th rep, it's going to be ugly. I'll get it, but it's like, it could be a 5-second grind. And I'm like, I'm cutting. There may not even be a training response from that. And it's going to beat my fatigue up because then I got a deadlift next. Same thing with a deadlift. I pulled 500 for a triple. I'm like, I could have got another. I'm like, look, that was a nice solid set. Let's just get over to accessories, you know, because I got to do all this cardio. There's no point in beating myself into the ground when I'm cutting. Just nice challenging work. Although I think I'm just going to curl my arms into the ground like yesterday. You know, mainly because I just neglected my biceps for so many years. They just need to be treated like that. Have you squatted 500 before? What do you mean? Is that a joke? Do you think 500 is the heaviest I've ever squatted on camera? I mean, it's 500 is the heaviest I've squatted at 48. Yeah, like this year, 500 is the heaviest I've squatted. I did do 505 off of a box, but I did 500 on a back squat, like a low bar back squat. But I mean, it's not the strongest I've been on YouTube, no. Granted, it was a little high, but I've done 605 on a cambered bar, probably about 2 inches above parallel though. I've done 550 on a back squat on camera before, weighing more. Hey, McBalls, no, I honestly, now that I'm looking at it, if I'm going to take the calories a little lower like I'm doing, keep this cardio up, I need to be careful with that 12 sets. On the big movements, I can come in and do that with biceps, sure. I do 12 sets for biceps. But I'm honestly feel like maybe the upper days, I could literally, for my big movements, just do bench press and rows and just do them as challenging sets and then just do isolation stuff just to make sure all the show muscles get hit, you know, triceps, delts, biceps, but I'll probably do a bunch of curls just because they're not taxing on the system. Like curls do not fatigue you the same way other stuff does. I can just burrow my arms up, even on a cut, because it's not going to injure me. It's not going to create fatigue. Does that make sense? Nobody's going to overtrain from doing dumbbell curls unless you're doing a bunch of cheat curls with them and you're inflaming your tendon. But again, I do have to think about recovery. The rate I'm now cutting, I've got to be very careful with recovery on the bigger lifts. I beat myself up. Scott, a lot of people do. And you have to learn to leave those lifts on the platform. That's why, if you're going to max every week, why conjugate works so well. Because they become just another lift. It psychologically detaches you from the maxes, right? And the lift that defeats you, you don't have to challenge it again. So if my lifters miss, they fail a PR on a conjugate lift, I will take that lift away from them for a long time. Like right now, I can tell you right now, Ted missed an incline PR this week, right? Dude, I'm not gonna let him max on incline for a while because he's been psychologically beat up by that lift, right? When weight gets heavy and I shift to my left squat, why are you shifting? Why don't you just use good form and don't do that? That's a form issue. I mean, yeah, you're going to have some compensation, but why are you that loose? Get those toes out, drive those knees out. Why are you not? You need to learn how to squat. You know, it sounds like you don't know how to squat. It sounds like you need coaching. I'm going to be honest, because that's not let's just take it down to the empty bar leg squat university. Well, no, I mean, if you're seeing significant side shift, you're not externally rotating your hips. You know, you probably need to work on some wide stance box work, but in your case, you're running a novice program, you need to learn how to squat. You need to get those toes out, and you have to learn to drive those knees out coming out of the bottom. Okay. Which will cause the hips to externally rotate, and it will remove that. This is a technique issue. All right? So, well, you also probably just don't have legs. So you just got to keep putting in the work. You look healthy, appreciate it, man. Liberty, Jesus Christ loves you, brother. And even though you're imperfect, all right. Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but you guys get the idea. It's all good, man. All right, let me put it this way. Liberty, I am a Christian. I'm not a very good one, but I am a Christian. So we're good, you know. But I do believe that, yeah. I don't want to make this religious. It actually literally, the algorithm will hammer me for it, though. So I'm not going to go into a whole diatribe, you know. But yeah, I mean, I agree with that. All right, keep those legs going, guys. All right. Keep the legs going, keep everything flowing here. Try to get all this done. I'm a little worried about this sunlight. People want lives, but stingy on likes, right? That's what I mean, Dean. They don't want to give those likes. They don't want to help coach get paid. Like I said, eventually it's going to go to all Facebook as soon as they flip some stuff over. I'm just going to do all of them there. Again, YouTube, man, just doesn't want to pay us like it used to. It doesn't promote us the right way. It's become too sterile. That's my problem with the YouTube. All these creators now, it's more about glam and editing versus information. Like they have so many professionally looking videos and it's still just trash dumpster info. Watch out for the tree branch. At the top of the screen. That's right, hit that like button. So, how many guys are going to comment on the tree branch, man? Is this going to be the topic? That's fine. You know what? I'll take the free money. You guys can spam about it all day, even though it's a ridiculous comment. Go ahead, I'll take the money. Go ahead and tell me 20 times, man. It's just money. I need to remember that with stuff that's slightly silly. It's just money in my pocket. Like button for daddy. I have merch ideas, like button for daddy. I don't think that shirt would sell, dude. I don't think people are actually going to buy a shirt that says like button for daddy. You owe that tree branch. I probably hurt that tree branch as bad as it hurt me. Although look at the top of my head. I was bleeding that tree made me bleed my own blood. I might go cut that tree down later in the middle of the night. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that. It would be illegal. I'm not going to do that. Coach would never do anything like that. I would never break the law. Law-abiding citizen. I'm just saying, no, that tree better watch its back. All right. Prevention squat. Well, Young, you got to keep putting in the work and quit doing silly cuts like you did. Quit getting bulking too fast, getting fat, panicking and losing all your gains when you diet to 148. All right, I lost my crown on live chat. I don't know how those crowns work. You got to post more, Peppermint. It's because you're not posting enough. Someone else is out posting you, I think. All right. So, I'm not trying to be mean. I just can't get my head around being 148 pounds. I haven't been 148 pounds since I was like 11. Shocking. Like, how does anybody even decide to diet down that low? And it's like, so when you come back up, it's not like gaining faster is going to gain muscle quicker either, just because you did that. I'm just struggling to envision a grown man dieting to 148. How do you guys do that? I got down to 170 as a distance runner, like running. And to me, that's the lightest I've ever been as an adult. That's probably the lightest I've been since I was like 16 years old. How many hours today for cardio? I've been doing 3 as my baseline lately. We only did 3 yesterday, but it was an upper body day. We got a whoosh out of it though. We did get a whoosh. We're down to the 217. It's not 217, it's 217 and some change, but when it's under 218, we call it 217. That's how it works, right? That's how it works. We're just going to call it. But funny enough, I lose weight later in the morning. Even though I've had that whole pot of coffee, the getting up and the walking, I've weighed in before. I'm lighter than my morning weigh-in. It's kind of weird. I did it yesterday. I'm like, really? I lost a whole pound in spite of drinking an entire pot of coffee just from walking. Just weird. I like to just check that stuff, see what it's doing, to kind of see the pattern. I was 250 and I freaked out, and now I'm 155 and I'm not happy. We'll just lean, bulk back up, baby Gronk. Lift weights, gain a pound a month, just slowly gain muscle. You'll be good. What roasted coffee are you drinking these days? I've just been doing Folgers. I probably need to go get my pecan stuff again. Okay. All right, Coach. I liked the snafu yesterday with the tree branch. I got assaulted by that tree branch, man. That tree branch assaulted me. I was once 147 pounds, 6'2". Never again. Now I'm just over. Like, I can't even comprehend that, but I've always had a thick frame and wide shoulder. Like, I can't even get my head around those numbers, you know? Yep. 1 push day a week enough. I prefer 2 pressing days. What? That doesn't even make sense. Do you mean pull days? Wait, is 147 light for a grown man? No, I told you not to gain quicker. You're just going to gain fat because you lost all your muscle. That's why. So, Young, the reason you're that weight is because you starved all your muscle off. But it's not going to just bounce back if you gain faster. You're just going to get fat. I mean, the one where you miss the hook. Oh, yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah, I totally missed that hook re-rack in that. I actually had a dude come in and tell me, that's why you have no muscle. Like, he literally saw one of my work sets with those deep stretch things talking about, oh, you're not training hard, there's no intensity. He watched my reel. Like, check that out, guys. This dude's saying, that's why you've never gained any muscle. I'm like, dude, I'm 217 pounds. What are you guys talking about? But it's like, did he not see that that's 45-pound plates on an isolation? And I'm doing a deep range of motion. People are funny. Uh, the doctor said 1 or 2 Goonie. What? What are you talking about? You guys got to remind me what that stuff means. I know that's some weird Urban Dictionary thing. All right, work out my arm fully. My 12-year-old son is lean and 130. I mean, I believe that. I'm just, I've just never been at those sort of body weights. Like I said, the lightest I've been was 170, and I wasn't even lifting weights. I was just running, you know, doing a few push-ups and things. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, problem is you diet your muscle off, then you've got to gain it slow because you're not going to do anything but gain fat if you go faster. You just have to accept that. Coach, is some weird word that these kids keep using. Yeah, I don't get it. He's probably a weirdo. But you know what? I'll take his weirdo money. It all spins the same, right? A forearm workout with a dumbbell. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't believe you, Gronk, mainly because I've heard other people use it in a weird context, and you would just call it training your forearms. You wouldn't. You'd be like, I'm doing wrist curl with a dumbbell, right? You wouldn't call it some other weird word. So I don't believe you. And that's okay. You can be a weirdo. It's all good, man. You're hidden under a fake name. No one's going to know it's you. Bob in accounting, you know. I always laugh though, man. I do get people who come and criticize my training and they criticize other stuff. And I'm just like, man, at least put up proof that you look good or you coach people or you're strong. I see people do it on social media though. And it's one thing because you can hide on YouTube. When they do it under their Facebook account, I step over and look and I'm just like, I'm not trying to be mean, but man, and I'm not saying I have obviously a pro bodybuilder quality physique or anything, but it's like some of the dudes who come in and criticize what I'm doing, I look at them and go, have you ever touched a weight in your life? Like you got to look at them and go, dude, you don't even lift. What's your problem with my rows? Coach Michael Hearn does the guillotine press. I'm not going to buy in, sorry. You need to be patient, young, because keep in mind, that's the price you have to pay for doing the silly thing you did. You know, you're going to have to pay a price. You did something silly, it cost you, and you have to accept that price. There's going to be no shortcut around it. Now just be consistent and do it correctly. I mean, a lot of Mike's stuff can be. I didn't know he's promoting the guillotine press. I don't know. Mike, you just do you, man. You know? Michael Hearn gives good advice. Generally, his stuff is pretty dang good. I'm just from a shoulder health perspective. I'm not buying in on the guillotine press. I'm just not. You know? And I mean, it'd have to be excessively light. And I promise you, Michael Hearn's not doing it light. How heavy is Mike going on this guillotine press you guys are talking about? Come on, guys. When you lie about not taking stuff and give advice, it feels like BS. Larry Wheels is very good. No, Larry Wheels is a horrible coach. Larry Wheels is a great athlete. Larry Wheels is reckless. And I would never hire Larry Wheels to coach. I don't see how anybody would trust Larry Wheels to coach them with all the injury stuff and the goofiness. No. He's a great athlete. I'll give him that. Great genetics, great work ethic, absolutely. Ridiculous amounts of drugs. Keep in mind, guys, he was doing over 2 grams when he was a teenager. Also, he admitted it. He was using test and A-bombs like crazy at like 18 years old. I mean, Jesus Christ, if I did his stack. I'd be big as hell though. Like if I did his teenage stack right now, I'd probably be 250 within 10 weeks. You know, that's crazy. Crazy doses. So he's out of shape. People who criticize, I am out of shape and overweight. But I don't criticize people who, yeah, exactly. More risk and more reward. Didn't Larry squat 800 pounds a week before a show? I didn't know that. No, I didn't see that. That might have been Ronnie Coleman. You ever going to get bigger or gain a better physique? You play it safe. Yeah, Gronk, that's not necessarily true. You need to play stuff reasonably safe. But I mean, let's keep that in mind. Now, granted, it took Larry Wheels to where he is. But you guys remember what his stack was? I remember what he admitted. He was like, yeah, dude, I was 18. He's like, I was doing 1.5 grams a test a week and 150 milligrams of Droll a day. That's 1 gram of Anadrol a week. That's 2.5 grams, guys, of relatively wet, hard stuff. You know, not saying those are the highest side effect. They're not by any means. But, you know, saying blood pressure and everything else going to get pretty high. So that's a lot of gear. The goal is to be lifting a lifetime, not beat up old man. Yeah, that's the point. And that's the point I would make, Scott. Even me, I'm just going to cut down and then I'll lean gain whatever strength or whatever I need after that. But even for me, the best thing I could do from outreach is get leaner and to be better for my health. All this cardio and clean eating with slightly reduced calories is only going to make me more healthy. Right? Put me in a better position to have better health and to then make some lean gains again afterwards. And I can just come up lean after that if I need to. Yep, thanks for the advice. You're welcome. Does all gear affect blood pressure? No. No, Dean, all gear does not necessarily affect blood pressure. There's a lot of variation with it. And that is, again, an extremely complicated topic. Right? But anything that makes you retain water, yeah, it's probably going to kick your blood pressure up. You know, he was using 1 gram of Anadrol a week. Anadrol is a very wet drug. It's a lot. I'm not saying it's the maximum. I've known the guys who use more. Yes, we even have human clinical trials on that much. So I'm not saying it's crazy in that regard because Anadrol is pretty weak, milligram per milligram, believe it or not. But it is boofy. Like blood pressure is one of the biggest side effects of A-bombs. And alcohol. When you mix it with alcohol, it's deadly, by the way. If you look at the human trials on that, 1 drink a week triples your liver enzymes. Like guys on high doses of Droll in the human studies, their liver enzymes went up, but they stayed in the healthy range. They added 1 drink a week. It was like liver sclerosis risk level from 1 drink, 1. So Anadrol is deadly stacked with alcohol, any amount. But yeah, its blood pressure is definitely a problem with it. I have to wait till I'm 24 to be jacked in here. Could have been jacked. Jason, thoughts on, I'm not big on any of these terms in general. I need to research that one further because I know it's newer. I've just never liked a lot of SERMs for certain things. And I don't see the point of using a SERM to boost testosterone. Like just take test. Guys, like I'm trying to maintain fertility, we'll do a fertility stack while you're trying to get your wife pregnant. I mean, that's not a fan. There's so many side effects from all the stuff that boosts testosterone. Like just dealing with it's a hassle. You know, that's why when people talk about, oh, I want a natural test booster. Well, if it's anything like pharmaceutical test boosters, it's going to be horrific. You're much better just doing testosterone. Because look at the sides people get from all this. Every time they do HCG or they stack in Clomid with it, all the side effects are so much higher than if you just use testosterone. Should I tuck elbows in during bench? If your touch point is correct, you won't have to probably actively tuck. It's almost a default response to the correct bar path. I mean, you could focus on it, but I would focus on getting your bar path correct first. Find your grip and bar path down low on the chest to where your forearms are 90 degrees. We could get into a debate about elbow tucking for elite powerlifters, but for just base building on a guy who benches less than 300 pounds, just worry about your bar path and touch point, honestly. I wouldn't even think about stuff like tucking. Worry about that when you reach 300, 315, you know. worrying about fructose in fruit. No, you shouldn't care about fructose in fruit at all. Done. I don't need to read the rest of your question. I've made 10 videos on that, by the way, in vast detail. No, you don't need to worry about fructose in fruit as a general rule if you have a healthy gut biome. All right, sir, are 4 to 10 sets per week per muscles? What? You're gonna need to reword that. Well, young, you're gonna bulk up a pound a month for the next 3 years. All right, I see the vision now. Thanks, I'll check them out. Awesome, Tony. So yeah, Cliff Notes, whole fruit, not fruit juice, whole fruit in its full matrix. Your gut biome will convert most of the fructose into glucose before it hits the bloodstream. Because you're not absorbing it in the upper intestine like you do refined sugars. Those are just hitting the bloodstream as soon as they empty the stomach. The fruit, that fructose, very little of it does. And once it reaches your gut, it gets fermented into glucose. Your gut biome loves fructose with fiber mixed with it. Right? So that's actually great for gut health too. Coach, I'm on that long bulk path you recommend. Everything's a long game, dude. That's why I laugh when people worry about the short-term stuff, and I'm like, I've been doing this 25 years, guys. I find it's, how do I put it? I'm not making fun of anybody. I think it's cute. It's kind of like when I hear dudes talking about their 1 year, I need to do this in a year of that, and I'm just like, you know how like when a kindergartner, like a little kid, you know, gets excited, they talk about the kind of their funny, it's just like that, you know, it's just cute, it's cute. But I'm just like, dude, come on, man. It's about the long game. See where you're at in 5 years, 10 years, you know. Just put in the work, just be consistent, you'll be good, you know. No, young, there's no way to know what you're gonna bench at that. So don't set stuff like that. Focus on the journey. Right? I mean, depending on genetics and based upon your previous training history, what you told me, I don't think you're genetically elite. I don't think you're in the top like 1%. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So for you, like a 300 bench while lean could literally be a 5 to 10 year goal. Like just being, maybe even a 10 year, you know, just calling it like it is. And that's not unreasonable. Guys who are not genetically blessed, not on drugs, who stay lean, like a 315 bench is literally like a really serious, super long-term goal, you know, and I think it's perfectly respectable in that context. Good morning. What did the scale say? 217. It's a journey, not a destination. That's right, man. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, he got coaching slots. Tell him, Dean. Dean, I've coached Dean before. Right, I've coached Dean before. Most could get it though if they gain. No, if they get fat. But why do you want to do that? Like, is it really worth getting fat just to get a 315 bench? Like, really and truly, is that truly worth it to anybody? To just, you know, all the effects of being fat for a 315 bench? You should coach Simeon Panda. Why would Simeon Panda hire me to coach him? Do you feel Olympic weightlifters and coaches are not pragmatic enough with programming? Seems like they don't use enough variation, especially for... Depends on what's going on with their coaching. The thing to keep in mind with Olympic lifting, what you have to remember, don't compare it to other strength sports. Olympic lifting is so technical that you really do have to think in terms of carryover, right? A squat or a deadlift, anything that makes your quads or hamstrings bigger, your glutes is gonna make them go up, right? We know this. With Olympic lifting, it is so technical and not as strength-based. Does that make sense? So much of it is technique-oriented that you have to be, any training time that you're allocating, you have to be thinking of, is this going to transfer to my movement pattern? right? Because if it's not gaining strength purely for the purpose of gaining strength and muscle, may not give you the best total at the Olympics for weightlifting relative to your weight class. So they tend to think of all of their hypertrophy work, most of it is still assistance exercise. They're still looking for movement pattern carry because unlike squat, bench, and deadlift, a true full clean, for example, is 20 times more technical than any of the power lifts. And that's just the first half of the movement, like for a clean and jerk. So, you know, they're usually thinking in those terms. So that's why they are the way. So you have to understand the needs of the sport. You the best. Thanks, Dripping. The goal for me is to just be more flexible and to live healthier. Well, if you want to live healthier, Johnny Sins, then you still need to gain muscle and strength because that improves health, right? So your live healthier should be including some squats and deadlifts. 14 words, now truer than ever, Texans must come together. What? I don't even know what that means. I'm a Texan, what are we talking about? Like for Jason, appreciate it, Carol. Let's keep them likes flowing, bro. Clean and jerk, I usually jerk and clean. Hey, Young, we're talking about the Olympic list, bro. Come on, man. You don't got to make it all sexual and weird. All right. Very true, I stretch every day, but are you lifting? You under a barbell? I'm making a joke. I know you are, but it's just, Young, a lot of us have been in lifting a long time. Just saying. Yeah. How do I put this? That joke is older than your grandma. You basically are telling a joke from the 1950s that every lifter has probably heard 1,000 times. It's fine, that's cool, man. Just be aware. We don't need to make everything all sexual in here all the time, though, guys. We don't got to do that. All right. They call me. Well, I get other money from these on the lives. And no, it's not worth it for me, but I'm doing the cardio anyways. So I'm going to live stream so that I make some money in outreach while doing the cardio. Why wouldn't I multitask? Does that make sense? So let me be fair, Martin. If I was just sitting on my butt and only doing the lives as nothing else, they wouldn't be justified. Absolutely not. Make sense? But since I'm already doing the hours of cardio and it's boring, the streaming lets me actually turn it into potential followers, potential clients. I get consultation calls out of these. I've got numerous consultation calls out of it. Make sense? So does it become worth it to me if I get a $100 consultation call out of these, which has happened pretty frequently? Yeah. But then we also get followers outreach. But yeah, eventually they'll all go to Facebook. I appreciate your content. You should do a collab with me. I'm good, man. We don't need to collab, Johnny Sins. I'm strictly taco, no burrito. So, all right. Hey, we reached the first hour. 14 words of political. I think I've heard that somewhere before, but I don't know what it means. So I don't really know what that means. Do you like iced coffee? I drink hot coffee. I drink my coffee hot. All right. So, afternoon, Big King, Blaha, ruler of the Broshin. Appreciate it, man. Me neither, Coach. I heard it, but I'm not sure. I don't know what it means either. Oh, I think that's that might be a racist thing. Now that I think about it. Might be. Oh, well, I'm not worried about it. I'm not doing it. I'm not talking about it. Next. All right, we've hit an hour. I'm going to start heading back to the house, get this thing charged. and get my other stuff going. And then we'll see if I can squeeze in another walking one. I don't know if we're going to be able to with the temperatures and the phone connection. We'll find out. Thoughts on calcium cannons. I don't know what that means. All right. I don't know what that means, man. That's something they sell at Denny's. Right? 5 good reps is best rep range. I don't know about that. Although I do find myself really liking the 5 to 8 a lot more these days. Again, you know. Except for some stuff, man. I like doing some high rep dumbbell curls and things. You know, some a little isolation work. Unpopular opinions, but I don't think most women are being satisfied. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I think that's relatively common. A lot of dudes are just patting back because they're selfish and they don't care. They're just trying to get their nut. I think he's talking about, can't even read that word. I don't even know what that word means. All right. Oh, man. All right, we might lose the vision walking down my street with this sun up. We're about to find out. We're about to find out. Up in here. Yep. So, yeah, you know, get hydrated. Get this phone on the charger. You can't read that word. All right. Coach, are you a ladies' man? I wouldn't say that I am these days. I've been points in my life where I was. I don't discuss my personal life anymore, what I'm doing, or, you know. Prefer to keep it off the internet. It's just better. We must secure, yeah. Moving on swiftly. Yeah, we're just gonna move from that. We don't need a bunch of snotsy stuff up in here. Like button for daddy is a way of life. Appreciate it, man. Exactly. Keep those likes flowing, bros. We do like those likes. But what I also like is that it's a leg day and I passed over an hour of cardio. I feel good. That's why I've got to watch the volumes a little. As long as I keep the volume saying, what's my minimum to maintain muscle and strength? Where are we at with some of this? Especially on the leg days. I don't get as fatigued. I can come and burn through more calories on the list cardio. Because some of those harder leg days, I struggled like a while back to hit even 2 hours. And I'm like, I need to be getting minimum of 3 hours then, right? Till we get nice and lean. And so really, recovering and maintaining muscle optimally will let me cut faster. That's the key, right? People talk about protein sparing modified fast. I'm doing enough cardio, I'm getting the equivalent, man. Because I literally, my total fat and carb intake right now, calories are literally less than my calorie burn from my daily cardio now. So, but I'm eating a lot of protein. Make a couple of things people would actually buy it. I think it would be a cool shirt. I don't know. Maybe. All right, I'm almost home here, guys. Man, we're getting, what are the views at? We're at 30 views, though. Do we really want to end this? Wait, I'm down to 1 bar on my own street. Let's see what it does. Man, we got a lot of viewers in here. I almost don't know if ending this would be wise. Maybe I should walk a little further down my own street. Connection. Let me know if it disconnects, though, guys. I'm showing 1 bar on my street. Now it went back to 2. So now I'm on my street. That was not my street. That's across the block from me. So now these trees are all good. Trees are all good. I'm gonna walk a little further. Get those likes up for me, though, guys. Give me a few more likes if we can. Are you ever gonna really turn the PDs? I don't think I need to, Marty. It wouldn't be justified unless I was really lean anyways. You know, to where it'd be healthier and then just lean gains. Like, I don't need to use much of anything right now. You know. What do you think? I like inverted rows. They're just too easy for me. At my back strength, I don't want to do sets of 30. And they're hassle to load for me. I've done inverted rows. I used to do them with plates. I've done them with chains. I've done them with a weight vest. I like them. They're a good lift. You ever thought about being a personal coach? I'm a online fitness coach, dude. That's already my job. What are you talking about? I have coaching slots open now. That's literally my primary income. So yes, I've definitely thought about doing my job. I have thought about undertaking the career I currently have. I've definitely considered it. So, yeah, dude, I do all that. Look at those links to all of it everywhere. And all my stuff, man. That's actually how I pay my bills. So, yep. You see client testimonials, client vlogs. They're all over all my stuff. So, all right. I walked further. I went past my house and I kept going. Let me turn back around. Figure since we got enough views, I would run it just a hair longer. Right? Especially since I'm fasted, we're still getting temperatures okay. Everything's okay out here temporarily. Coach, you look like Johnny Sins too. I know people keep saying that. I've been accused of looking like Johnny Sins, Walter White, and Steve Austin over and over in the streams. Literally hundreds of times. So, it's all right. That's cool. Can't y'all pick Jason Stanton though? Like one of my sister's friends one time says, your brother looks kind of like Jason Stanton. She's like, tell her, no, stay away from my brother, shut up. But, the views just dropped. Coach, I don't know what that means. What about Alexander Brownlee? Thoughts on behind the neck? I'm not going to get behind the neck pull-ups. I just don't see the benefit. That feels like just shoulder wrist for no benefit. Unlike a press, you're not working more back with that. Jason Statham is a good comparison, right? And Jason Statham is fit, right? He's fit and he's got his own interesting philosophies and things he says. He strikes me as a solid dude. And I'm not saying I know everything about his life, just saying certain things that he's promoted and does. He seems like a solid dude, you know, right? Seems like a decently cool dude, you know, outside of his acting. You guys already know the answer to that. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and wind this down. The views finally did drop down a little. We're definitely past the hour. So I love you guys. I'm gonna talk to you next time.